A sentient person is basically someone, who is really like aware and tapped in with their own like perceptions, feelings, and emotions, right?
Makes sense.
Like connect with other artists, but like feel like I can be fully myself and express myself. I've learned over the years that, you could be a local artist and still make as much, if not more of a direct impact.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Every Day is a Yay! Y'all, today we have an amazing episode for you. Get ready to be inspired. Get ready to be rejuvenated. Get ready to be your authentic selves. Today, we are joined by not only a dynamic creator, but a trailblazer in the neurodiverse community and hitting major stages and again, inspiring us to be ourselves. Give it up for the iconic, the amazing Sam the Sentient! Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, tell me more
I'm
about
looking forward to
you.
this. I was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4, and it definitely impacted my life in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
It presented some challenges, but over time, I learned that it gave me a lot of creative skills and a lot of creative energy and focus that I haven't yet harnessed until maybe like when I was around 12. I remember when I was like around this age, junior high school, I was listening to this album called Mad Villainy by MC MF Doom and a producer named Madlib. And, I was just very inspired and fascinated with the way that this artist, this MC, was able to create worlds with words. So I, decided to try to emulate his style and ended up, growing into something that I liked, something that stuck, and started really developing my own style. And, I got a lot of positive feedback and reinforcement, sharing it with family and friends. And then when I graduated high school, I decided to enroll in a digital media arts college to get my associates in recording arts. And then afterwards, when I graduated, a little after I graduated in 2019, I started really hitting the open mic scene in Chicago. And ever since then, I performed on stages such as, Lollapalooza,
Period.
Jay Pritzker Pavilion.
Period.
I've also, since I believe 2021, been an ambassador for the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation, creative ambassador.
Yes.
And I performed on behalf of their organization on stages such as Fenway Park, the Sid Gold's place in New York. And I've also performed at a Veterans Memorial Stadium, which is also in South Boston as well.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a journey so far, and I feel like this is really just only the beginning.
It really is.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I've been looking
Yes.
forward to this for a while. So
Yes. We're so happy to have you.
yeah.
Okay, so we are gonna dive into all of this, but right before we do that, we have a very special segment. Drum roll, please. We've got the Goblet of Smiles! So in this section, you're gonna pick a question, any question,
All right.
and the goal is to bring a smile to you and a smile to our audience. So go ahead, read one aloud for us.
Right. This is okay. I got it.
Okay.
Wow. What is your favorite time of the day?
Ooh.
And what is your favorite time of the year and why?
Oh, that's
Wow.
such a cute one.
I feel like my favorite time of the day is almost right after the time that I wake up, because I feel like that's the time where I can really set the tone for the day, and I feel like that's when my brain is most fresh, and it just, to me, it symbolizes like an opportunity to really like set a positive tone and really like tap in and embrace the unlimited possibilities of what the day could bring for me. So I'd have to answer that. Favorite time of the year. Wow, this is definitely
It's tricky.
something I got to think about a little bit. But I mean, one of the things that comes to mind for me, I'd have to say it's a split between the start of Autism Awareness Month, because I just think it's such a great opportunity to celebrate not only my neurodiversity, but the neurodiversity of fellow peers in my community. Not only, to expand awareness for others, but also to learn more about myself. Because, I've been on this planet 26 years, but I feel like, I'm learning more about myself every day. And I would have to say another awesome time of the year is Thanksgiving, because it definitely reminds me of how important and essential being grateful is. Not just because of the holiday tradition, but just being grateful in general. And I think it's such a great reminder to not only do it on that particular holiday, but also to do it every day, which is something that I, make sure to put into practice for sure, and make sure every day is a yay. So,
Period.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're very similar, because for me, favorite time of the day, I would have to say morning too, because like it sets the tone. You're allowed to just like really bask in gratitude. And anyone that knows me, y'all know I love my bike rides. Okay, so I've been doing my bike rides on Lakeshore every morning. So I love the morning time. And then favorite time of year, mine is tied. I'm also with Thanksgiving. Also, because it's typically like when I'm with like all my family, but then also tied with like May time because of my birthday. I always am very extra on my birthday. I love celebrating me, and I feel like everyone should. So, yeah, I'm very similar. Okay, period. Well, that is the Goblet of Smiles. Woo! All right, Sam, let's dive in. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good.
Yes. So I want to go back to how we met. So it was seasonal jam. The whole team was just so mesmerized by your energy. We're like, okay, this guy has yay vibes all the day. We saw you selling your shirts, and we're like, okay, like who is Sam the Sentient? And it wasn't just your energy, but also like when you started performing, like the way you commanded the crowd was amazing. So I want to go back to just like your name, Sam the Sentient. Where did it come from?
So this is back in 2019. I was rapping and performing under a different stage name. And then so basically my name was Sam I Am, right?
Okay.
And there was an event that I performed at. It was the Winter Block Party at the Metro Chicago.
Nice.
And I actually ran into another artist with the same name, who's actually known for being like a legendary freestyler named Sam I Am. So that was kind of a interesting yet awkward moment for me. So
imagine two names.
And I was like, you know what? I mean, if I'm gonna put myself out as an artist, I gotta have my own original name.
Exactly.
Right? So a little while after that, I took a while to really reflect on what name could represent me as an artist that's also original to who I am and integral to who I am. So based off of my own approach to my craft, it's a very reflective, very therapeutic, conscious type of approach that I put into my art. And I was starting with words like aware and conscious, because I feel like those are synonyms that correlate to who I am as an artist, and who I am as a person. And I was looking up, I was putting aware and conscious in the search bar on thesaurus.com, and I was just looking for different words that I feel like could match with my name. And, I found, one day I was researching that and I found sentient. And then I said, Sam the Sentient. And in the back of my mind, I was kind of relating that to Chance the Rapper and like Sam the Sentient.
What does sentient actually mean?
So it means a couple different things, right? So a sentient person is basically someone, who is really like aware and tapped in with their own like perceptions, feelings, and emotions, right?
Makes sense.
Like it's someone who's alive, someone who's conscious, right? Like someone who's fully aware of themselves and, and how they like perceive themselves and how that reflects onto the rest of the world, right? So I wouldn't say it's like one particular definition. It's just like kind of, a couple different approaches to the word that you can kind of interpret it and, just kind of putting it together to make it make sense and to reflect on my brand,
Okay. Cool. All right. That makes sense. And I do think stage names are so powerful because even without knowing you, once they see your name, they
Yeah.
already know what you stand for.
Mhm.
So now let's go back to growing up. So you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier that when you were 4, that's when you were diagnosed with autism.
Mhm.
Tell me more about like just growing up. What did that mean to you? Because
Mhm.
when you're 4, like that's just a word. Like
Yeah.
what is that? What did that actually mean to you? When did you actually realize like what it actually is? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I started to really conceptualize this particular condition as I, started growing up in the public education system, probably around like when I was in middle school, junior high school, because I started noticing that I wasn't able to be as like socially outgoing in like one-on-one type of conversations like my other peers and classmates were. I had difficulty with, concentrating in some of the classes, especially
Yeah.
the ones that didn't align with my special interests. And, some of my academics kind of suffered because of it. So, and this is something that is common with people on the autistic spectrum, young kids, especially those who are, a little more like high functioning, and even those who aren't, particularly those who are, who are nonverbal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the first understanding of how the autism experience has kind of affected me. But on the flip side of that, even though there were moments where I was like, daydreaming in class, in the window of those particular moments is when I really started to tap into my special interests of writing and being creative. And, because I was so enamored with it and so entranced by this world of my own creation, which some, autism experts will kind of refer to this phenomenon as, it put me in such a place where I had like this hyper focus and obsessiveness about my craft that I started developing, especially when I was like a high schooler. But it took attention away from my academics, which I didn't care as much about. So it was this kind of flip side of me, like, oh, I was really growing and developing a unique skill set, utilizing my hyper focus and obsessiveness productively and in a positive light, but also having to understand that I had to, make sure that I was, progressing academically so that I could actually grow and transform in my own life as an independent person.
Yeah.
So I used that motivation to graduate, to not have to take high school again and have to take classes I don't care about again, to be like, you know what, I'm gonna get A's and B's my senior year of high school and just push through. And that's what I did. And I ended up graduating.
Period.
So yeah. And then when I, went to college, I definitely tapped into more of a creative music type of courses.
Yeah.
And
Because that's your passion at this point. Like, why
Yeah.
waste time on what you're not interested
Yeah.
in?
Yeah. And, and I took courses. It was mainly on like audio engineering and, just to give me understanding of how to actually like record myself and create my own music. But then my passion really started to kind of funnel into me being a recording and performing artist.
Yes.
Right. And that realization started to come around 2019 when I really started pushing myself and putting myself out on the Chicago open mic scene.
Tell me more about the open mic scene, because I feel like
Yeah.
that's something people don't emphasize as much as like how critical it can be growing up as an artist and a performer.
Yeah. So it was one of the first opportunities and moments where I felt like I was connecting to my tribe, where I was with a community of people who not only thought like me, but who were experiencing the same things that I was going through. And the more that I started going to these particular open mics and building these relationships with these fellow artists, the more comfortable that I felt in my own skin and in expressing myself. So yeah, I would, especially during the fall of 2019 when I started going to a couple open mics in particular. One of them was at the time called The Platform, which is hosted in part by my mentor, whose name's Fanam. He's a legendary MC.
Nice. Okay, this makes sense. This makes
Yeah.
sense.
And he definitely has had a pivotal role in my formation as an artist. And you know, the being embraced by him and other types of creative communities, especially, you know, going to the wordplay open mic at the Young Chicago Authors Organization and going to those workshops. That's definitely been another community that has really embraced me and it's felt like a creative hub for me to express myself and be in. So,
I love that.
you know, I definitely got to credit the open mic scene for not only opening up the opportunity for me to actually like connect with other artists, but like feel like I can be fully myself and express myself, you know, with other people and with that kind of support system, because you know that's really critical.
It
you know,
is.
and like having family and friends is important, but also you know, aligning yourself with a tribe and other people who understand what the struggle is like, what the hustle is like, and those who are getting in the same trenches as you. It could definitely inspire you to not only like grow deeper in yourself, but also push you outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Because then you start to test, you know, how far can I actually go with this? You know, like you know, is the ceiling that I'm putting above myself actually more limiting than I think? You know, and you know, that's definitely been helpful in me being able to transcend on stages such as performing at Lollapalooza, performing the J. Pritzker Pavilion, and you know, the Promontory, and even, you know, aligning myself, that posting content about all this and me putting out music helped me connect with the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation, which is an incredible, upstanding organization that advocates for people and families who are in the autistic community and families who have people in their family who have autism. And you know,
tell me more about that organization in terms of like what it means to be an ambassador.
It's definitely an honor and a privilege, I feel, to represent not only myself as an autism artist, but artistic artist, but represent the community. It's definitely been something previously that I think you know, it was very important for me to do, and this gives me an opportunity to let other people know, not just people who are creative, but like people who just are on the spectrum.
Yes.
And, you know, maybe they have a special interest that maybe isn't understood by their family members or understood by the school they go to or whatnot. To let them know that, you know, there's no separation between what I can do and what your possibilities are. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, once you really tap in to your special interests like I did and really like grow in yourself and continue to invest time and energy into those skills, you know, you can manifest greater things than you could possibly ever imagine. You go to places where you never even thought you can go. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I performed last summer at the Veterans Memorial Stadium for a Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation event, and it was really inspiring to see some of the young people really, you know, gravitate towards me, especially those on the spectrum, some younger people, and it makes me feel like, you know, I'm you know, doing the right thing, and I'm really you know, representing the autistic community well. So,
is there any specific engagement you had with someone listening to you that was like you said, like just further emphasizing that importance of you doing what you're doing?
Yeah, that brings me back to a time, this is actually kind of a while ago in 2019. I remember there was someone who heard one of my songs. I don't remember the name of it. It was on SoundCloud, and they said that, you know, they connected with my song so much they felt like, you know, they were alone, but when they heard my song, they felt like really inspired and uplifted by it. And especially, you know, as a younger artist, I was just putting music out on SoundCloud at the time in like 2019. And I didn't even expect to get that type of reaction. You know, in your head, you think like, oh, these huge major artists with these, you know, these big tours and these like lavish careers, those are the only people that inspire people. But, you know, I've learned over the years that, you know, you could be a local artist and still make as much, if not more of a direct impact.
I say it's more because they can see you're reachable to them.
Right. 100%.
You're human to them. You're not just like, and I'm telling you, you're only going to get bigger, period. So the more that you're able to build that authentic connection, the better. So I completely agree with you. Yes. Oh my goodness. And you know, man, there's so much. First of all, like, thank you for being you and just continuing to be authentic. There was something you said earlier about your tribe and the importance of like how they also push you to reach higher ceilings. What are some other key things you look for to make sure, hey, this is my tribe? And then also, what helps you determine who you want to work with? So I feel like there's your tribe that supports you and that you can grow with.
Yeah.
And then there's also people you actually like, hey, let's actually make music together. What are the things you look for in both groups?
Well, in terms of the people that I see, that I seek out for moral support, and that who I align myself with in that particular realm, people who not only whose values not only align with mine, but I feel like also are willing to tell you some of the things that you need to hear at the time. I feel
Even
like
if
one of
it's
the
not what you want to hear.
yeah, I feel like that's one of the
important.
toughest things for artists is to receive criticism.
That's true.
And but constructive criticism can actually be beneficial to not only growth as an artist but growth as a person. And I feel like it's so important to not only align yourself with people whose values you align with and ambitions as well, but also people who see the real you, and when they see you kind of off your scale, they can kind of like call you out in a respectful manner. And I feel like those are the people that are the most beneficial to me in my growth. And in terms of collaboration, and I've been thinking about this a lot recently because there's been people who on Instagram have reached out to collaborate with me
Yeah.
as well. I think one main thing that comes up for me is alignment, right? Like, I want to work with people who not only have the same ambition and drive as me, and whose goals align in terms of actually taking this music thing seriously,
Yes.
and doing it full time, but also even people who are more driven than me, maybe working a little extra harder than me. Because
Love
I remember
that.
I was watching this clip on Instagram, and Pharrell was talking about how if you have like two track stars who are training with each other, one of the track stars is maybe they're in the Olympics, but they're going against they're running with and training with someone who may has like a gold medal or something, or
Yes.
or is faster than them, and that helps excel their speed and sharpen their game. And I feel like I've been in those particular spaces where my pen game has been pushed to that level, and
Love that.
the ego has a way of trying to separate itself and defend itself against any criticism. But I feel like once I just kind of enter those spaces as my authentic self, and just do my best and stay open to whatever energy comes my way or whatever energy happens, I could actually learn a lot in those spaces. And when I document some of my shows that I perform at after receiving some constructive criticism, I've learned that maybe it wasn't as good as I previously thought. Maybe there are some things that I could tweak, maybe some
Which
new
is
approaches.
okay. That's part of the journey.
Exactly. And I feel like if you're not improving, it's like, how are you going to get better and how are you going to grow? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like as an artist, I'm 26, but there's so much. I feel like there's time that I have. I really do honestly feel like this is only the beginning.
No, it
You know what I'm
100%
saying?
is.
So,
Like, you really are just at the beginning.
yeah, and I'm driven by new, fresh approaches that I can take to my own art form, and ways that I can even push my pen game even more.
Yeah.
That's what invigorates and motivates me to actually go back in the studio to hop on stage and just really try new stuff. Because if you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's like the definition of insanity according to Einstein is doing the same thing, expecting different results. You know what I'm saying? So
Come on now.
yeah. And I'm really all about growth, you know what I'm saying? Not just like growing my career as an artist, generating more income and a fan base, but creatively too. Because ever since I was young, and this may go into another topic, but
Love it. Go ahead. We
ever
we got
since,
the time. We got the time.
yeah,
You
so
Sam.
one of my biggest influences musically is Kendrick Lamar.
Yes,
And
that
I've
makes
been
sense.
bumping Kendrick Lamar ever since Section 80 came out, good, all the way up to now with, and earlier, a couple years ago with Mr. Morale.
Yeah.
But I felt like he's been an artist for me that has not only had an incredible skill set, but also someone from an artistic standpoint and a storytelling standpoint has been like at a masterful standard of like just creativity and innovation. And I feel like that balance between the progression of the art and the masterful methods of really approaching an album creatively from a particular standpoint, and even with all the videos too, as well as having a superior skill set. That type of balance has inspired me to become or continue growing as an artist that I am today and moving forward. So, I mean, new approaches, and different techniques that I can try to kind of improve my skill set, as well as ways that I could approach my own brand visually.
Yeah.
That's what continues to drive me to this day.
Let's go into that, like with whatever you're comfortable with, because I think it is very commendable to be an indie artist, and there's a lot of power in being an indie artist. What are some of the things, like whether it's finances or other things that you've had to navigate, saying like, hey, I'm going to take my own path in producing this and producing your own work?
Yeah. One of the things that I've had to do, which has been the most important for me, is taking accountability and responsibility for my work, right? And understanding, like, because when you're a kid, and you look up to all these artists who people consider made, you think, oh, if I just put out one song or perform one time, someone's going to see me, and then everything's going to go uphill. When actually the reality of the situation is completely different.
Yes.
And that's some growing pains that I've had to learn throughout the years. And when I started really just like taking responsibility in not only like understanding who I am as a person, which is something that I remind myself every day, of who I am, what I believe in, and all the great things that it's brought me to this very day. And also connecting that with my brand, connecting that with my music.
Yeah.
So when I put myself out, I could be my authentic self, and then there's incentive for me to actually like represent myself, because like maybe I haven't developed my fan base to where I aspire to at this particular moment yet, but
it is growing though.
Yeah.
Especially like, I love the way you use social media to grow your fan base. Like, talk to me more about how social media plays a role in your journey too.
Yeah. So something interesting I think about social media is that it's like a hammer, right? It's like a tool.
Yes.
And I've thought about this recently. Social media it's such a powerful device, like and especially phones in general. Like it could either be a tool / hammer that you can use to build something, or it could be something that you use to destroy. And also it could be something that could be used against you. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're doom scrolling, per se, you're getting, hit with procrastination and overstimulation
and comparisons.
Yeah,
that's why I call doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Doom.
But the best way that I've been able to navigate social media is using it in a strategic way, and especially intentional. Like being intentional with social media, I feel like is so crucial. I feel like when I've used it that way, I've actually been able to use it as something that I can build with. It's where it's like I'm sort of more in control of it than it's in control of me. So what I've consciously decided to do, especially with my TikTok, I've been trying to post as much content as possible on TikTok, trying to do it every day. Sometimes, life happens and, certain projects take longer than others.
Yeah.
Because, we're all human and we all, kind of, we're not perfect. But what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to balance the demand for consistency and frequency of TikTok with alignment with my identity and brand as an artist as well.
Exactly.
Right. So when you see my content, you're getting accurate glimpse, an authentic glimpse into who I am as an artist and what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
which is touching so many people, because like when they see you, they're like, okay, I can do it too.
Right.
Which just goes further into your alignment.
Yeah. Like, for example, the TJ slide is one of the big dance moves that's trending on TikTok right now. So I'm like, okay, this can be an opportunity for me to kind of expand my reach and my audience on TikTok. But how can I put a spin on this that's original and authentic to who I am?
Yeah.
So what I did was I took the TJ slide idea and I combined it with like a me, like saying, oh, what if you when you TJ slide through a workout? And I just did a little couple funny videos about that because health is definitely one of like my core values for sure. You know, I feel like I can't fully operate as my true authentic self if I'm not like healthy, if I'm not, you know what I'm saying, active and working out and eating the right foods.
Yeah. It's like you have to
You know
be
what I'm saying?
inside and out have to match.
Of course.
Energy level.
Yeah, and you know, and that was just an example of me reflecting that while also connecting with a particular trend and phenomenon that is really resonating with a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
So just finding ways to balance that. So it's like, okay, I can actually use this tool for its proper use without having to fully compromise who I am. And that's just something that I've been developing, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's important. Because if it's like, if you're not being yourself, at the very least, if you're not being yourself and if you're not enjoying it, it's like, like, what's the point? Like, it's worthless. You know, you have to, especially in a creative format, you have to be as authentic to yourself as you possibly can, and you have to enjoy it, right? And make sure to do that, as well as, you know, utilizing particular strategies to actually grow a fan base.
It's like you want to create the content that you would want to watch.
Exactly.
Essentially. So you're a really dope MC. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Period. So being an MC and one of the few MCs on the spectrum in Chicago, how does that impact your unique style? And also, how do you make sure that doesn't define you?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I feel like just on a surface level, like presenting yourself as someone that's on the spectrum and an artist, it already has made me stand out a little bit.
Yes.
But I think continuing to spread the awareness of autism and to emulate that within my own work, I feel like helps, you know, it makes me stand out. And, you know, it's, you know, led to me having some really cool collaborations with organizations such as Autism Heroes. And, you know, obviously the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation as well. But I also think it's interesting because there is a movement and a community for neurodiversity and autism.
Yes.
You know, but I think the double-edged sword of it is it's something that makes me unique, but it's sometimes I've noticed that it's been hard to connect with some crowds who aren't autistic or don't really know about it, and that's
they
where
already have like prejudices.
Yeah. Also, who are unaware of it, you know, and maybe just don't have anyone close to them that has it. But I think because I've you know gone through a lot of training, creative artist ambassador training with my mentor, as well as all the creative development I've been doing, you know, with my own work and performing on the scene, and continue to just grow my craft incrementally, one performance at a time. I've been really embracing lyricism as a part of my identity as well, and just, you know, really like being true to that, you know, and you know, it's got me to a point where, like, you know, like there, like some of my artist homies, you know, like, you know, like for example, I'm in this group right now called Mastermind. Mastermind, Master MINE 773 is our Instagram.
Okay.
Right. And we
interesting.
Yeah, and we, you know, we've been a group ever since I think January earlier this year, and there was a segment of the show where I was, you know, encouraged to do like a freestyle for the crowd, and my mentor was giving me words, and I was using them to incorporate in the freestyle. So I've kind of built a little reputation and identity on the scene of being someone that's really good at freestyling, because I practiced it, and I still, you know, am continuing to grow my craft today. So I feel like those types of things, being known for not just being autistic, but being a dope lyrical autistic artist, is definitely something where it's like, okay, I could branch out just being known for being autistic, but I could also embrace the fact that, you know, I'm going to bring you the bars.
Exactly. Like
You know
that
what I'm saying?
pen game, don't play.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
And especially like bringing energy on stage
Yeah.
as well. And also another thing that I find important, which I think is such an important staple in this Chicago artist community, is mental health.
Yes.
And some of my songs, as you may already know, Let Go, Let God,
Yeah.
is an example of me just kind of creating an experience of actually tapping back into self and reinstilling like mindfulness to the listener. Because it's like, you know, when I approached that particular song, I wanted to have something that like, oh, if I was stressed out and I needed a musical meditation to vibe to, you know, what would I want to hear? You know, I feel like that's also a core approach that I have to music. It's like, what do I want to hear first? Because if I don't enjoy it, if I don't really feel satisfied with it,
Then how do you expect someone else
exactly.
to?
And you know, it's kind of like what Gandhi said, just being the change that you want to see in the world, you know, and I try to be that, not just with my art.
You're not trying, you are.
Hey,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that observation. But
yes.
But yeah, you know, and also me really fleshing out all of my values and what I believe has helped me understand that I am, you know, a multifaceted person. You know, there's many sides to me that, you know, I can show and maybe have yet to show from my art. And it just, you know, it just gives me more creative excitement to explore that, you know.
Hear you. So, I would say you're very introspective, very 100%. In tune with yourself.
100%.
So I heard from a previous interview that you have your mission and vision statement and like why you do what you do, and you recite it to yourself. That's amazing. What got you into doing that, and what are some other things you do to just kind of build that muscle of introspection and staying true to who you are?
Yeah. So my mentor has definitely been very helpful in reminding me to be myself no matter what, you know, not trying to chase other artists because they may have a popular song on TikTok or may have a catchy song, but just like really focusing on who I am. And that's definitely reinforced me to just keep, you know, leaning in and grounding in myself. And also another thing that I found particularly interesting about myself is I think the thing that resonates with me the most in terms of learning is like audio, like listening to things. Because I don't mind reading like on a two-dimensional like paper or whatnot, but I feel like it's a totally different experience when you're closing your eyes and you're just really zoning in. That's how I meditate, and hearing myself. That's how I memorize my own lyrics. Like I record them, I write them, record them, and I play them over and over again, and I rap over them until I'm able to take out the lyrics and just, you know. So I learned a lot by listening, you know, and really like deep, thorough listening, and I feel like me like recording, like creating a list of all the things I believe in and all my values and all that good stuff, and really listening to that, it also opens up new neural pathways in my brain that can remind me not only of who I am, but like what other creative ideas can this inspire, you know, type of thing. And that's really helped me, you know, like that really helps me when I'm putting myself out. I could kind of remember the back of my head, okay, these are the things about my brand, these are the things about me that I represent when I come into a particular space, an event, interview, or working on a particular song, that I can reflect to the outside world on social media when I'm popping out at certain functions. And interestingly enough, a couple years ago, I began this creative, creative exercise journal book. Called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I don't know if you heard that. That's a big like creativity and spirituality workbook.
I would love to use it because I take notes, y'all. I hope you're taking notes. I'm like soaking this up like a sponge.
And one of the first exercises that's presented in this workbook is called Morning Pages. And it's basically you write freehand, you write with like a stream of consciousness, freehand style, just for like 3 whole pages when you wake up in the morning. And that helps you actually get ideas out and create stuff without overthinking, without like blocking yourself. So
Because
that
you're
when it's
like letting
time,
it flow.
yeah, because so when it's time for me to write a song, this has been happening with me recently.
Yeah.
When it's time to write a song or draw a brush of painting or sculpt something, whatever artistic venture that you do, you'll be able to have enough confidence and trust in yourself to actually do it. Because I feel like that's what leads to writer's block, especially for some other people I know on the scene. And I feel like the more that I do morning pages, the more confident and trust I have in the actual process to be able to just let it out, And I feel like that's what's helped me be so prolific with my own content, with my own song output, and even just like freestyling too. Which is interesting. Yeah.
I'm just so grateful, even as a creative, listening to you, because I'm like, these are even things I'm taking with me. Like, okay,
I appreciate
I
that.
need to be
That's what
doing
it's
this
about.
journey every
that's what it's
day.
about.
And like for everyone else that's listening, like again, you're giving us tools to really continue to be ourselves, especially in a world that's trying to tell us to box in. So
100%.
going back to just like representation, what are the biggest misconceptions about folks with autism or being on the spectrum?
One of the biggest things that I feel like I've debunked throughout the past handful of years is that autism people just aren't social at all. They're just socially awkward and that's how they are. But I feel like when a person on the spectrum starts to tap into their special interests and then finds that tribe who aligns with those special interests, I feel like that opens them up, because that's what I mean. I'm speaking from my own perspective. That's what's opened me up too. When I found other artists and especially poets and MCs, what I'm saying, I've expressed myself and they resonate with what I have to say, and I feel the same vice versa. That creates a relationship right there, and that's opened me up even to networking with other people and in those conversations. Like that has sort of set me up to actually be social and socially engaged with other people, because we have this common interest that threads us together through the arts. So that's opened me up to be more social.
I know that is like a big one, right? It's like folks are not like as social, but it's so interesting how you say you need to, like, once you find your tribe, you're more opened up, because that there's parallels in a lot of that. Like a lot of people in general don't open up that much unless they find the people that really reflect that.
And it's not like it's only social people who have autism that have social anxiety.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like it's not, this could apply to anyone.
Right.
Yeah. Period. You are truly a trailblazer. Like for
Appreciate
real.
that,
And continue to blaze that trail. Okay.
Will do. Yeah.
Period. So speaking to our creatives, as well as those that are creatives and they are also autistic as well, like what advice do you have for folks?
One of the first things I would tell them is to just really take the time to reflect on who you are. Who you are, what inspires you, and why you do what you do.
Yes.
So I feel like when you ground yourself and anchor yourself in those, it's very hard to stop and to quit, even when the temptation, when you feel the temptation to do it. And that's been something that's been effective for me, especially recently. And I would just say to really like channel, especially for the neurodiverse and autistic people, channel the spirit of hyper focus and obsessiveness into funneling that creative energy and focus, and not always worrying about what other people have to say about what you put out, or worrying about what other artists are doing and trying to compare yourself, but really just being like hyper focusing not only on the creativity that you have and why you do it and who you are, but also just focusing on expanding it and expanding who you are. Because like I never could have imagined that back in 2023, even without having grown my fan base to the extent that I aspire to, performing at Lollapalooza, performing at Fenway Park,
which is amazing.
Yeah,
okay, y'all.
And
these
if you
stages are crazy.
Honestly, if you apply yourself and you put the same type of time and energy and hyper focus into yourself and your growth, you'll go places that you won't even imagine. You can't even imagine. And you just really also align yourself with a supportive circle, you know, and you know, just continue to just have that support around you, and also just tapping in to that hyper focus and that creative spark that you already have to really like make something of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because I really feel like the world needs more people on the autistic spectrum and more neurodiverse people. You know, we have the power to not only make beautiful things, but also make this world a better place. And I feel like if you just hone in on that, then, you know, the sky isn't a limit. It's only a view. You know, anything is possible. And I really believe that. So, you know what I'm saying?
Give it up for Sam.
Yeah.
I literally like, yes. Wow. You said not only of you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness, y'all. Well, you really do represent every day being a yay.
Yeah.
So how do you make every day a yay?
So there's a couple things I can say. I have so this is something I learned from Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah,
she has
we love Oprah.
Her gratitude list.
Yes.
And I write 5 things that I'm grateful for every night before I go to bed. And you know, another thing is I listen to my music every morning, and I listen to songs like Face That. I listen to songs like Stay Focused and My Body and Self Love. So I not only remind myself of the artist I am and who, you know, reflected into the person I am reflected into the music, but also just giving me that spark of joy and the feeling of yay to, you know, give that to other people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yes. Ah! So how can we support you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. Yeah. So on Instagram, this is so actually the concept of this was to create like kind of a collegiate like crew neck sweater, and you know, really give people like a snapshot of who I am as an artist. I almost kind of formatted it like a definition, like a dictionary or something like that. Also because I'm a lyricist, you know, the wording of it, you know, and the concept of it kind of makes sense. But you can follow me at Sam the Sentient MC, Sam the Sentient spelled SAMTHESENTIENT MC, EMCEE on Instagram, TikTok. I'm also Sam the Sentient on YouTube and Facebook as well, and X too.
Period.
So yeah.
Yes! Ah! Y'all give it up again for Sam the Sentient!
Yeah.
Y'all, what an amazing episode. I hope y'all took notes. I know I took a ton, and I'm just filled of so much joy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, for being a blessing on this show. And remember, folks, that you have the power to make every day a yay!